Okay, good day folks. Today I am making a video about something which doesn't involve trucks or power tools or anything of the normal stuff. It does in fact involve this. It's a Lorex bullet style CCTV camera, which forms part of my home security system. And the problem with this camera is it's displaying a pink image during daytime. Not quite sure why this is. Some initial investigation on the internet says that we can have a problem with a little filter which is apparently behind the just this camera here. A little filter which is behind the camera here. Now I have disassembled one of these before, and it's easy to do. You just need to be careful. The other camera had a power fault which I repaired with a little dab of solder. However, this one is again has the pink image, and I need to try and sort this because two of my other cameras also have the same problem. Again, which a bit of investigation on the internet has proven to be somewhat of a common thing. Right, so what I'll do is we'll start opening it. We'll see what goes on. First thing, of course, is to remove these little foam plugs. The little foam plugs that cover the screws. That won't get it either. Oh. Give me something fancy. 1, 2, 3. I must say that I've had these cameras for about 3 or 4 years now, and they work tolerably well. I don't know if you can see this. This is the information for the camera. It's 700 TV lines. I will put a snapshot of this into the video. Right, after we've done that, we need to remove the 3 screws. Now, a word of caution when disassembling one of these cameras. The actual camera itself and these infrared LEDs here are very, very short. They actually only go up to about here, and the rest of this is just empty. I don't find anything when I need it. Okay, which we'll see in a minute. And we need to be very, very careful when removing the front part of the camera, as there's no logical way to do it other than prise it out with a screwdriver. And as I said, we're 3 or 4 years old. Around this clear section of the lens here, around here, there is only a rubber seal between the clear lens and the black body. Right, I'll show you that now. What we need to do is, you can see, I've opened this one before, you can see when I've levered that out. You need to get something in there and then lever that bad boy. Damn, that silicon's really taken. There we go. No. Right, now when removing this, be very careful because everything is fastened to the back of this lens. These plastic studs here, you see them very well. These plastic studs here are actually the receiving holes for the plate that holds the LEDs, and of course on the back of the LEDs we have the camera. This is the camera unit itself, and as I said, the rest of it's just damn hollow. So, I mean, how much of the camera body how much more extra camera body do they really need. It must just be presence or something like that. First thing, we need to disconnect these little plugs, and these things are so damn weak. Okay, that's the body's disconnected, and we can just start it for the time being. Another thing we need to do is we need to take away, you need to break the connection between this plate and the actual camera unit itself. So again, we can pull this plug out. Right, give me a second. I think I've just broke something. There we go, I've got it. Right. Now I need to remove the camera itself. As I said, this thing I do believe is a heat sink. Why do I believe it's a heat sink? Well, with a small little nubby part here, which I hope you can see that, which is a whole little nubby part here, this has actually got CPU compound. This is heat transfer compound, which you would find on a CPU, and that touches on the back of this section here, which is actually the very rear of the image sensor for the camera. Which again we'll see in a minute. I'll remove the camera board and we'll take a proper look. Right, that's the 4 screws removed. Now we can actually remove the camera body itself. There we go. This is just the photo cell and the infrared LEDs, so we don't need that at the end. This little doobie is the camera. Now this little thing here, this is actually, I'm trying to get the light so you can see it, this is actually the tip of a rail that moves in and out. I can, come out. Which is part of the mechanism for the shifting left and right of the nighttime filter. We'll remove that now and we'll have a look. Right, take this off here. So as you can see, there we go. This is the image sensor. I hope you can see that. And this, of course, is the lens body itself. Now here, if we look carefully, we can see the colours. The pink is, I do believe, part of the daytime filter. and the clear section is part of the nighttime filter. I may be wrong with that. That may be the daytime filter, and that nighttime filter, or nighttime filter and daytime filter, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's one or the other. All I do know is that if you operate the camera in daylight, this little arm sticks out and we'll open this. There we go. And there's the two filters. Can I get that? What the hell? What is it? There's a piece of metal loose in there, like swarf, like a drill shaving or. It wasn't there when I opened it. Can you see this? This piece of swarf here has just fell from behind here. This thing. Interesting. I wonder what that means. So first things first, let's have a look at this lens layout. Right, the lens, let's try and get some more light on this. The lens, if you move this, it shuffles backwards and forwards. Now this is a small electric motor, and it moves this rail backwards and forwards, as you can see. Now the rail's not super loose, but it's not super tight either. It's actually skipping across the teeth of the motor at the moment. So as I said before, I do believe when the camera is operating in daylight, this is sticking out. So I presume the pinky one, the pinky lens, is the daylight filter, because this is the way it is. And at night time, that goes in like this. But at the moment, everything's pink, certainly pink tinged. And I'm presuming it's the fault of this little filter here. You see that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this motor and check it to see if it's working okay. It's not like tight or anything like that. So, okay, how do I get this out? It's kind of loose. What if I just lift this rail up? There we go. This motor's tiny, and it's got some writing on it, which you can see there. The writing says FM 0892 with what looks like a Q, a small house, and an L3 underneath. You'll see that. I will put that in the description. I'll even put a photo, maybe even put a photo if I remember. There. Can't say I'm not close with this. I'm not impressed with this camera's macro abilities. It is a sports camera, so let's give this a quick check if we can. This motor. Now it's only a small capacity motor, so I don't think the voltage is going to be too high. Let's stick a 1.5 volt battery across it. Right, let's see if we can do this. I need to, using this battery and these two wires, try and get this motor to spin. Hope this works. I don't bloody damage anything. You see that? Let's see. one. Hang on, am I doing this right or not? No. It's probably not important, but I do want to keep the polarity correct. Positive to positive and all that. So, can you hear that? Buzz. Buzz. Oh, it's turning fine. Okay, that's good. Right, the motor's fine. I can't really see any bad soldering marks, but I'll give that a proper look later over. Everything looks bright and shiny the way it should do. Now, in the past, I did open one of my other cameras because it just went black, and I can't remember which one it was, but some of the soldering joints inside were pretty damn atrocious. Especially these ones here for the motor, these two here. I had to reflow both of these, and I reflowed this one and one of these ones here, I think, and then the camera started working again, so that was good. Right, let's have a look at this lens assembly. Now, as we can see, this slides backwards and forwards again, and it is lovely and loose. Now, as I mentioned previously, when it's operating in daylight mode, this is sticking out and this is covering the aperture. So I'm guessing the pink one is the daylight camera, and the other one is the nighttime one. Because if you cover the lens up, if you cover the photocell, this gets sucked back in and exposes the camera to this, which is kind of opposite really to how I was thinking it would work. I thought the pink one would have been nighttime for infraredness or whatever, I don't know, and the clear one would have been for daytime, but live and learn. Alright, now what? I don't know. I don't really know. This is working. Motor's working. Is there something else I can do? I know these are working because you can see it on the image sensor at night. Alright, now from previous experience, if you want to test one of these cameras without disassembling it, the best thing to do is, well, in my opinion, the best thing to do is that when the camera's on, it's on. It's in the case, of course. Cover it up and listen for this switching over. If you cover it, the lens, and it goes click, and then you uncover it and it goes click again, then I can only presume in your camera this would be working. Because that means that the little shutter window is opening and closing as it should do. And when it goes to nighttime mode, of course, the picture goes grey. I'll put an image of that, a snapshot of that, a comparison between the two. So you can see the difference, and if it still remains pink during the day when this is working okay, then the only thing I really guess is that, oops, and there it goes, puts the image sensor down. What an ass. It must be an intelligence problem. I've swapped the camera from port to port on the DVR digital video recorder, but it's the pink remains. So and of the other cameras, I put them on the affected port that this camera was installed on, and their picture is lovely and clear. Well, as clear as a 700 line camera can be. So what I'll do then is I'll reassemble this because that's working okay, and we'll test it. I'm just wondering where the hell this piece of metal came from. That's just, wow, weird, or just shitty quality or what, I don't know. Where did you come from? Maybe you just come from the case of the motor. Okay, I'll reassemble it and we'll see what happens. Alright, first things first. Let's give these little lenses a bit of a dusting, as tiny mites can magnify to extraordinary visual errors. I'm not blowing it with air or anything like that, because I'm certainly not rubbing it hard, because I don't want to take the I simply don't want to take this cover off this lens, so I'll just give that a quick wipe. We'll put the cover back on. Which way did you go? This way, I think. Ah, there we are. I haven't put the motor back in. I'm reassembling it and I haven't put the motor back in. I'm going to do this. At least I hope that's there. Let's see. Yeah, it's moving reasonably free. I'll put the cover back on. Should you okay. Now I'll give the image sensor a quick wipe. So the right way around. Yeah. So I'll just reassemble the camera. Okay, that's the camera mounted back to the board. Now, what's getting me is this has got thermal, what's it called, conductivity paste on it. It's the sort of paste you get on the back of a CPU when you install it in your computer, between the CPU and the fan. So I'll just put a dab of that on. CPU. I've got anything to put it on with. Okay, heat transfer paste. Ah, that's the name of it. Heat transfer paste. And I'll just put a tiny dab. It's not going to need much. I can't imagine the heat in here gets so high as to need aluminium paste. There you go. Heat transfer paste. And now we'll put this thing back on. What's that? Oh, actually it's ceramic. I thought it was plastic. It's not. It's ceramic. Oh my god, I thought this was white plastic. Yeah. It's actually ceramic. God damn. Huh. Oh well, there you go. That explains a lot. Just clear this old paste off here. There you go, there's the ceramic heatsink mounted back on. And what we'll do is I'll put the camera back inside the actual body. The circuit board is mounted back to the infrared light unit, and the photos how it goes. You need to reconnect this. These red marks, these are just witness marks to make sure to get everything connected up correctly. Right, then actually that's pretty much it. I'll mount this back in the camera body now. Yeah, it's all greasy. Okay, I'll mount this back inside the camera body. And we'll test it. Now we've got to make sure we install it with the photo cell down, photo cell to the bottom. Shouldn't be trapping any wires. So, camera's in. Now what I'll do is I'll hook it up outside, I'll take the camera outside and we'll try and see it in operation to see if we can see that little arm moving. Okay. Right, I've got the camera temporarily hooked up to an external port. So what we'll do is we'll remove this down lens again. Okay, and as we can see, you can see that the little arm is sticking out. You see that? So I'm presuming that means it's in daylight mode. I'll push it back in. If I cover everything up, there's a lot of light bleaching in here, so try and cover it adequately. Oh, it clicked. And the arm's out again. I'll push it in, can you see it coming out? Can we see it activating? And as you can see, the arm is actually in here. So what I'll do is I'll push it back into the case. I'll cover it up. It clicked. And the arm's out again. You see that? So, okay. The actual day mode, night mode switching is actually working. I'll try that once more. Come on, click. No, it still hasn't clicked. No, no click. Why are you clicking? Let's push it back into the box completely. Will that help? Oh yeah, it clicked now. Do you hear that? Hear that? Okay, so that means it's working, I guess. And the little arm is out. So I guess that means it's in daylight mode. I'll go downstairs now and I'll check the image to see how pink it is. And we'll see when we go back in from there. Okay. Right, I've just checked the image on the camera downstairs, and it's still pink. And we know the shutter's working, so the only thing I can surmise is it's the actual image sensor inside the camera, which is kind of disappointing actually. There's not an awful lot more I can do inside this thing at the moment, so I'm just putting it back together. What I think I'll do is, well, I've swapped the ports, I've restarted the router, I've reinitiated the router. What else? I've swapped the camera from one port. Well, I've swapped the port obviously. So I can only surmise it's the image sensor. So I think I'll have to live with it until I can buy some more cameras. I will buy some more with a high resolution. I just hope they work with the DVR I have, because I really don't want to buy a full system when the rest of the system is working okay. Apparently okay, and it's just the cameras that are at fault. And on Amazon you can get a packet of Joni or something other type of, don't forget the little foamy plugs for the screws, for $80 for a packet of 4, including the cables, and they have 1,000 TV lines as well, which basically means higher resolution. But whether or not that will work with my DVR, again, I don't know. So apart from putting some silicone in these little holes, I can actually put this camera back into service, pink and all. So there we go. I hope that was some use to anybody. Thanks guys.